Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Well, today we're going to look here at Psalm 120, verse 2. Now remember, this is a part of our Ascent Psalms. So 120 to 134 is our little hymnal that we're singing along the way as we head up to Jerusalem. This is also just a description of the man who is returning to the Lord, because we begin with the prayer in verse 1, "To the Lord in my distress, I cried to the Lord, and he answered me." So we have this distress. We don't know what the distress is yet. We're going to find out about that. Now today we're going to look at verse 2, and if you have your Bibles there, open them up there and sit down here at the table with me. Let's look here at verse 2 in Psalm 120. I'm so glad that you're traveling with me as we ascend. We're going to ascend along with the psalmist. So I'm sure that every one of us can say, "Oh, I have distress." Yes, and we can use that word distress, and it might mean a whole lot of things to a whole lot of people, right? If you got 12 people, the word distress will mean 13 things, because it's just such a diverse idea, and everybody would say something different about what's going on in their life is distress. And so you say, "Hey, I've got distress too." Well, let's do like the psalmist, and let's cry out to the Lord, and just watch and see that he's going to answer our prayer. So he says that in verse 1, "To the Lord in my distress I cried, and he answered me." So here in verse 2 he says, "O Lord," he says, "deliver my soul, O Lord, from lying lips and from a deceitful tongue." Well, now look, so apparently there are some lying lips and a deceitful tongue, and we would immediately say that this is somebody else speaking against the psalmist, wouldn't we? But what if the lying lips and the deceitful tongue happen to be in the mouth of the psalmist? And he sees the corruption of his heart. He sees the fact that, as James says, his tongue is set on fire by hell itself, and he knows he needs deliverance. So he cries out in his distress over his own condition and says, "Father, deliver me from my tongue and from my lips," because the tongue and the lips can be a problem. Other people's tongues and lips can be a problem too, right? Because sticks, the old saying, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me." That is simply not true. And it's simply not true biblically, because the psalmist gives us plenty of reason to understand that words can be the worst weapon used against the soul of any man or woman. They can be. They can be so hurtful. And how many times have we seen people adopt the negative words of others for themselves because that's all they've ever heard? Children grow up in a home where there's nothing but negativity. They're told that they're no good, that they can't do. And what do? If they hear that over and over, they begin to believe it because mom and dad said it or grandma and grandpa said it. And so they begin to believe it about themselves. Yeah, so these words, whatever they are, spoken by lips of falsehood and a tongue of treachery, those things can be as acidic and damaging to the soul of a human as anything else. And so the prayer is good. He prays, "Lord, deliver me. My soul has been snatched away. Deliver my soul," he says, "from lying lips." This is his distress. This is the distress that he is under. And it could, like I say, it could be the words of other people that are very damaging, or it could be the fact that he sees distress in himself because his lips are lying and deceitful. We'll pick that up tomorrow as we look here at tomorrow. We're going to look at verses 3 and 4. We'll look at verses 3 and 4 tomorrow and see, maybe there's something here that will shed more light on what he's talking about. So I hope you'll join me as we continue to ascend here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.